Hey guys, welcome to the channel. We're going to be doing another kind of simulation here. We're going to be simulating the 2019 season. We're going to be using the updated rosters as well. So I'm going to see if Madden, accurately predicts what could happen next year. I guess we won't know till the end of next year, but we'll see what they think of the AFC West. We're going to go through all the AFC West teams and see what they finish and, what the stats were. See if any players shined or anything like that. But if you guys are new to the channel, I do a whole lot of Madden content here. Madden 20 is only about a month away, and I'm hyped for it. So I do franchises, rebuilds, career modes, really anything Madden or just IRL football I like to do. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you hit that sub button. That would be greatly appreciated. But let's go ahead and hop right into this. We're going to be starting with the KC Chiefs. If you guys didn't know, they're my favorite squad. I got a Patty Mahomes poster right behind me, if you guys can see there. So, yeah, I am a Chiefs fan, but we'll see what they finish. So, I am going to keep Tyreek Hill on the team. A couple weeks ago was questionable if Kansas City was going to release him. I don't think Kansas City is going to release him. I think what is going to happen is he's going to get hit with probably a 4 to 6 game suspension. So, I want to keep him on the team because I feel like that's going to be a realistic kind of move for the Chiefs. I think he's still going to be on Kansas City, even if he does get a suspension. Running back's a little questionable for Kansas City, but their receiving core is just straight nasty. I mean, you have Hill, Watkins. They go out and get another speedster in Hardman, and they already have Kelsey. I would say probably my biggest concern would be offensive line, because they do have a nice right tackle in Mitchell Schwartz. I don't know. I just never really thought Eric Fisher was that all-pro left tackle who could just, was one of the best. I definitely don't think he is. So I think that's going to be a question mark. Center, I mean, come on. We have a 68 overall center. That's embarrassing. We have a 73 overall right guard. I would start McKenzie here because I do think he's going to start, but he only has a 59 overall. I just have to see. How is his overall so low? Okay, well, that's tough. I mean, that's just probably some of the worst stats I've ever seen. Moving on to defense, I actually like what Kansas City's done on the defensive line, especially this offseason. I'm glad they moved to a 4-3. So they have Frank Clark, Derek Nottie, Chris Jones is going to be playing as a DT now, which I think suits him a lot more better. They trade for Emmanuel Ogbah from the Browns. I just like the moves overall they've made. I know they still do need cornerback help. Their main corner is going to be Kendall Fuller, so that is a pretty big weak spot for him as cornerback, but besides that, they're in a decent spot. I mean, they got Emmanuel Ogbah, Jones, Clark. Safeties I like. They'll go out and get the versatile Juan Thornhill. They also signed Matthew, the Honey Badger, who's also a versatile safety. Linebackers are pretty good as well. They have Darren Lee, who they got in a trade, which was a steal. Anthony Hitchens, I'm hoping, can probably have a breakback season. Kind of struggled his first year. So that's what the squad's looking like. Let's go ahead and simulate right to the end of the year and see what we finish. Oh, wow. They don't have us making the playoffs. The freaking disrespect. They just disrespected Mahomes, bro. They have us finishing 5-10. The Chargers are 15-1. Okay. That's concerning. That is very concerning. Go ahead and check out the stats here. Ooh, okay. They have Mahomes having a bad year. 3,400 yards? Bro. 26 touchdowns? Not a great completion rate. That's insane. Damian Williams, more fumbles and touchdowns. Okay. That's not what you want to see. Receiving the ball, Sammy Watkins leads the team in receptions with 74. Not a whole lot of touchdowns. Well, I just don't know what went wrong. Wow. Okay. So they just have the Chiefs just having a downfall. Hopefully, as a Chiefs fan, I'm hoping this don't happen. I'm really hoping it don't. Defensively, we'll go ahead and check out. Wow, their defense actually has 400 tacklers. 119 by Fuller, 116 by Lee, 108 by Hitchens, 100 by Brashad Breeland. Sacks, not a whole lot of production here. 6 by Ogbah, 5.5 by Jones. Wow. They just have Kansas City struggling all around. 5 picks by Fuller, 4 by Hitchens, 2 by Breeland, couple of one bombs here. That's going to do it for Kansas City. They have Kansas City going 5-10-1. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that doesn't happen next year, excuse me, but we'll see. I mean, we'll see. That's going to do it for KC. Let's go ahead and move on with the Chargers here. Some would say it's the most talented squad in the league. I don't know. I mean, they definitely have a whole lot of talent. Offensive line is a bit concerning for them. As you can see here, they don't really have a player that stands out on the O-line, but it is going to be a huge addition getting Hunter Henry back after that devastating injury he had last year. That was definitely a hit for the Chargers, losing a tight end of that caliber. They're obviously still going to have Rivers, Melvin Gordon, a very nice receiving core, and Keenan Allen's, Mike Williams. Keep in mind, though, they did lose Tyrell Williams, who I know he's not a big-name receiver, but he's pretty good. I mean, he's going to join the Oakland, so kind of going to be a rival game for him there. But they still do have a decent receiving core. They have the young Mike Williams, the elite Keenan Allen. They still have Benjamin here. Defensively, I mean, one of the best defenses in the league. They go out and get Thomas Davis, which I think was a very underrated signing. Thomas Davis, I think, can be the leader of this squad. They have Perryman, a linebacker, Jerron Brown at outside. Safeties are going to have Adderley playing free safety. Derwin James playing strong safety. Cornerbacks are very strong for the Chargers with Casey Hayward, Desmond King, and Trevor Williams. That is a fantastic core. Just, that's insane. Then you go to the defensive line. They still do need help interiorly at the defensive tackle spot. They need that breakout pass rusher there. But to be honest, when they have outside pass rush like this, when you got Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram, that's pretty tough to stop. So that's definitely one of the better D-lines in the league. Probably some of the best pass rush in the league. I would put them at top 2, top 3 just in terms of pass rush. That's what the Chargers are, I do believe. So that's what the Chargers roster is looking like. I definitely feel like they're going to do pretty well. They tend to do well in the sim anyway. But we'll see what Madden has them doing here. Let's go ahead and get to the end of the season. Okay, they don't have the freaking Chargers making the playoffs either. They finished 7-9. Okay. That's a yike season by the Chargers, if I've ever seen one. 7-9. Phillip Rivers still, it looks like he had a decent year. About 4,200 yards, 34 touchdowns, 10 picks. Not bad. Running the ball, Melvin Gordon has a decent year, about 1,100 yards, 4.5 average, 10 touchdowns. 3 fumbles is a bit high. 81 receptions by Travis Benjamin leads the team. 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. Williams with 79, 708 TDs. Hunter Henry with a pretty decent season. 75 receptions, 800 yards, 5 touchdowns. Kind of surprising that Keenan Allen didn't lead the team in receptions. Bit of a down year. He definitely had 10 touchdowns, but besides that, not really impressive. Go and see what the offensive line did. It's pretty bad, as I thought it would be. Defensively here, you got Thomas Davis, who leads the team in receptions with 121, 112 by Brown, 88 by King. Sacks, you're going to get 8 by Ingram, 7.5 by Bosa, 6.5 by Tillery. Interceptions, you're going to get 3 by Hayward, 2 by King, and a couple of 1 bombs here. What did Derwin James do? He had 4 tackles for loss, a pick, 75 tackles, 60 solo tackles. Not a bad year for a safety. I mean, that's one you definitely would take. Did he have any forced fumbles? No forced fumbles. Did anybody have forced fumbles? You got 2 by Casey Hayward. Wow. All right. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive by Hayward. That's going to do it for the Chargers. Not really an impressive season, to be honest. Not really an impressive one. They definitely could have done better. Moving on with the Denver Broncos here. Definitely, they did get improved a bit on the offseason. Quarterback's still a little questionable. They do have Drew Lock. I'm not going to start Lock over Flacco because all things are pointing to Flacco starting. They kind of want to sit Lock because Denver kind of has a tendency to, they draft a quarterback high, throw him out into that fire, and he doesn't really prove anything. So I feel like Flacco's going to start next year. They're going to let Lock learn from Flacco a little bit. So I definitely feel like Flacco's going to be the starter. I feel like Denver has their running back now in Lindsay. He had a breakout season last year as an undrafted running back. Really a quite impressive season by him. You got Emmanuel Sanders coming back from a devastating injury. So we'll see how he does. Still have Cortland Sutton, who's a nice young receiver for him. Offensive lines, they need a little help. They got some tackles like Garrett Bowles and Jawan James, but I feel like left tackle is going to be a bit concerning for him. Jawan James, I feel like, can probably hold his own at right tackle. But other than that, they do have Risner at center, who might be able to be a breakout player for him. But other than that, their offensive line is definitely a little shaky. Tight end, they do have Butt here. Noah Fant is definitely going to get the start over Butt. They went out and spent a high draft pick on him. So Noah Fant, I definitely believe, is going to be starting. Defensively here, I mean, it's Denver. You know they're going to have a nice pass rush when you got Bradley Chubb on one side and Von Miller on the other. Cornerbacks, definitely, they still have Chris Harris, Kareem Jackson as well, Bryce Callahan. It's a sneaky good cornerback core. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but I know Chris Harris might be on his way out, but still next year, I feel like they're going to have a nice, decent, at least, cornerback core. Safeties, they're going to have Will Parks, Justin Simmons. So, I mean, not a defense like Denver's used to, but it's still going to get the job done, in my opinion. So we'll go ahead and simulate right to the end of the year and see what they finish. So no playoffs for Denver, man. I'm wondering if anybody's going to make the playoffs that we simulated with here. So we got the 4-12 Broncos here. So they're not having a successful season at all. I mean, I'm not against that. I definitely feel like that could be a possibility for the Broncos. I mean, Joe Flacco probably isn't the answer. Probably isn't. So I definitely see him having a down season, which might not be the worst thing for him. Because since they are sitting lock, getting a high draft pick wouldn't be a horrible thing. Joe Flacco, 3,700 yards, 21 touchdowns, 9 picks, 57% completion rate. Horrible season. Horrible. Running the ball, Wednesday kind of struggled, surprisingly. About 800 yards, 4 yards a carry, 5 touchdowns. Receiving the ball, Emmanuel Sanders definitely had a bounce-back season with 80 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 5 TDs. Hamilton right there with a decent season. Cortland Sutton didn't really have a breakout season at all. Noah Fant, 48 receptions, 500 yards, 4 touchdowns. Not a great season either. So, just probably chalk that up to the quarterback play. Left tackle and right tackle, 16 by Bulls. These are sacks allowed. Are you insane? 13 by Jawan James? How does your center allow 9? Wow. That's a little embarrassing. 136 tackles here by Josie Jewell. 102 by Kareem Jackson. 95 by Davis. Sacks, I mean, Miller's got to do his thing. You got 13 by him. 5.5 by Chubb. I thought Chubb would have more. 4 by Jewell. 4 by Wolf. Interceptions, you're going to get 2 by Simmons. And then a lot of one bombs. A lot of one bombs. So, Denver just struggled out here. They probably had the worst sim so far by any of the teams we've done. So that's going to do it for Denver. Hopping into the last team, we're going to be taking on the Oakland Raiders. And this one's completely up in the air for me. I'm not sure what to expect. They do have a decent O-line. They got Hudson, Gabe Jackson, Trent Brown. Obviously, they went and signed freaking Incognito, which I didn't get at all, but they went after him. Colton Miller, they have at left tackle starting. Wide receivers, they have AB, who's one of the best in the game, if not the best. Tyrell Williams, who they picked up from the Chargers. Ryan Grant. A nice receiving core, tight end. They did lose Jared Cook, so that's a huge loss for him. I definitely don't think Luke Wilson's the guy to really start there. I think Derek Carr, this is a prove-it season for him. If he doesn't have a great season, I definitely feel like Oakland is going to be looking for a new franchise QB. I definitely feel like Josh Jacobs is a starter. So I'm going to put him as the number 1 guy. Defensively, they still have a whole lot of holes here in Oakland. They definitely do. Cornerback is definitely one of them. They do have a nice guy in Conley, but he's not the best. I mean, he needs to upgrade and just get better. So besides that, their cornerbacks are really bad. They do have LaMarcus Joyner, which is a nice pickup for them. They also have Carl Joseph, who's another safety I like. Linebackers, they pick up Burfict, Brandon Marshall. They also have Whitehead. Not a bad linebacking core, but, I mean, not great. It's okay. It's serviceable. Defensive line, it's not great for me. They do have Hankins and Maurice Hurst, who I do like Maurice Hurst. They go out and get Farrell with their number 1 pick, 4th overall. I definitely don't think that warranted a 4th overall pick. If I was them, I would have went after probably Ed Oliver, one of those defensive tackles that were really high in the draft. I definitely would have went after a D tackle. There were so many available. They could have went after one. They could have went after one. But they didn't. They went after Farrell, and I definitely don't agree with that pick. Other than that, their defensive line definitely is struggle city. It is. They need a lot of help on that defensive line. They need pass rush. They were last in the league in sacks, I believe, and it wasn't even close last year. So we'll see if they improve on that front this year. Let's go ahead and get right to the end of the year. All right, so in every simulation I've done, they have not made the playoffs. Any team. So they're saying the whole AFC West. Well, someone's got to make the playoffs, but I mean, your guess is as good as mine for Madden's knowledge. We'll go ahead and check out the stats. So they have the Raiders going 3-13. Okay, that's crazy. I mean, I definitely think it's possible, but they've just really had every team we've played with not do good. 3,600 yards, 19 touchdowns, 10 picks, 61% completion rate. I mean, that's a car season. Since his MVP season after he broke his leg, he just really hasn't been the same. Rushing, you got Josh Jacobs here with not a great year at all. 189 carries, 700 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not great. Receiving the ball, 82 receptions, leads the team by Tyrell Williams. 600 yards, 6 touchdowns. AB kind of has a down year. 700 yards, about 70 receptions, about 1,000 yards by AB, 8 touchdowns. I mean, it's okay, but it's not an AB season. Luke Wilson, not great. Ryan Grant has an okay season from the slot. Go ahead and check out how the blocking held up. Left tackle, 15 sacks allowed, 11 by Brown. That's definitely not what you want to see after how much they paid him. Go ahead and check out defense here. 128 tackles by Marshall, 107 by Burfict, 85 by Lawson. Sacks, you're going to get 7.5 by Hurst, 4.5 by Eddie Vanderos, 4 by Burfict, 4 by Clint Farrell. Interceptions, you're going to get 3 by LaMarcus Joyner, 2 by Marshall, and 2 by Conley. So, man, not a successful season. Not a successful season in the least bit, but that's going to do it for this 2019 simulation of the AFC West. So we really didn't find a clear-cut winner, to be honest, at all. So the best team, I think, was the Chargers, and they had like a 7-win record. So they were just not predicting the AFC West to be very competitive, which I think it will be. I think it's going to be a very competitive division next year. But that's going to do it for the simulation here in Madden. If you guys did enjoy it, please make sure you hit that sub button and let me know what kind of division you want to see next. AFC North, NFC South. You know, you can throw some in there for me, and I definitely will do those next. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.